What is the best HDR setting on PS5? There are 4 adjusting cases, but if your TV has forced tone mapping and no other tutorial worked for you, I'll tell you what to do soon. Number 1. First party games. Like Spider-Man that supports HDR system settings correctly. We just need to follow the instructions. Set the room brightness to when you play and make all steps barely visible. Is it bright enough with deep darks? For OLED, QLEDs, etc. Based on many tests we made the past year, in most first-party games you'll get the correct HDR output. For example, when we set it to about 970 nits, the game is also outputting about 1000 nits. Number 2. Games with integration. If a game uses PS5 calibration, most of the time it's best to make the sun invisible. Going one step higher in steps 1 and 2 and making step 3 dark in 0 calyx. Step 3 provides near black details in some games. But in most third-party games like Hogwarts Legacy, if you don't make it 0 calyx, you'll get gray darks instead of black. Number 3. In-game HDR settings. If a game doesn't use PS5 calibration like Dead Island 2, in that case you need to search on YouTube or use the playlist link I put for you to find the correct settings. Number 4. Do they look good? Even on an expensive TV, if a game looks better on SDR, don't use HDR. It's important to use what looks better to you on your TV. For example, Diablo 4 on release looked better on SDR. If your TV has forced tone mapping always on, go to ratings.com, find your TV model, search for HDR brightness section and look for 10% window size value. And then use this chart to adjust your PS5 HDR based on calyx. And for blend, one step higher than the default value will do it. Contrast enhancer on Samsung TVs, dynamic tone mapping on LG TVs, and gradation preferred on Sony TVs can help with a brighter picture. But typically HGIG, contrast enhancer and tone mapping off give you a closer result to real looks. For an in-depth explanation, check the video on the screen.